Onslaught slaughtered Manchester United, turning the theatre of dreams to the theatre of nightmares. 3 successive wins for the new Liverpool manager. He led his team that says they will never walk alone. Indeed, they did not walk alone. They walked into the theatre of dreams, walked away with 3 points, walked away with 3 goals, and walked away with a clean sheet. What a way for him to announce his presence in English football. And also, Chelsea dropped points, Arsenal dropped points, and is there ever a team that will stop Erling Haaland from scoring? Back-to-back hat-tricks for the man from Norway, as his side also secured a 3-1 win over West Ham United. Pep Guardiola's men appear to be on a path of walking away with another Premier League title. Also, we're talking about domestic football. The new Ghana Premier League season is starting this weekend. And pretty soon, we'll be bringing you what you need to know about the Ghana Premier League. People have already raised concerns about the Ghana Football Association's decision not to, quote and unquote, hype the competition in the Ghanaian parlance, as many of us would like to put it. And also, over the weekend, the unfortunate incident of where the Black Stars Technical team were involved in an accident. But the good news is that they are fine. The good news is that they were at the Black Stars training grounds earlier today and took part in the training session. In fact, I saw them kicking balls all over the place. It means that they are in good shape to lead the team against Angola and Niger. The first game is against Angola on Thursday. The second game is next Monday against Niger. And later tonight, the Black Princesses will also be in action. Their game will be kicking off in the next 1 hour against Austria. They are opening their campaign in this year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. This is Sports Zone. I am Muftau Nambila Abda. The usual faces would be here with me. Show proudly brought to you by Syntex Tank. Tough, very strong. And also, Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Gary soakings are easy. And also, Winner Bake, Catch the Flow. And Guinness Ghana, they have made it possible for us to bring you Sports Zone. We are back in a jiffy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Sports Zone here on Joy Prime. I am Muftau Rabila Abdullahi, and I'll be doing this with your usual faces that you've always seen here. Victor Achutamakluk, my colleague on the Joy Sports Desk, and Sichofe Ashrim, he'll be joining us pretty soon for this 9th edition of Sports Zone. The Under-20 Women's World Cup, is underway. The African interest is up there. It's up in the air, and we'll be bringing you what you have missed so far and provide some unraveled perspective as to the performance of those teams. And take you to England, take you to Spain as well. And in England, the big game was Liverpool versus Manchester United. I'll be wondering what Achu would be feeling like tonight, because a place where dreams are made became a place where tears were flowing as 2 mistakes from Casemiro, 2 assists from Mohamed Salah, 2 goals from Luis Diaz. This first half results. Second half, Mohamed Salah came back, scored. Actually, he's not even smiling.
No, I'm cool. Cool as ice.
Cool.
You
can't do focal. Whether you are cool or you are not cool, you can't do focal.
It happened. Water under the bridge. We move on.
It's
not as if I did not expect that sort of results. We've seen it. We've seen this before.
For real?
Oh yes. And the fact that you get to a point where you expect Manchester United to capitulate in exactly the manner they did right from the get-go. The fact that these listless performances, all of these structural defects, which I'm sure we'll get into, no longer surprise us, is the reason the manager cannot continue to keep his job.
When I hear you people say is the reason the manager cannot continue to keep his job, I laugh. Why? Why can't he keep his job?
Because he's not been good enough. And what he's done suggests...
Why would you wish someone loses his job?
Okay. Eric Ten Hag. So for those who do not know, he comes from a family of millionaires. He is one of those guys who doesn't need to work to earn, to be comfortable. So if your concern is that he needs to earn a living to meet his responsibilities.
No, he needs to fulfill his passion, please.
Wait. Not at the expense of our happiness.
Your emotions.
No. Not at the expense of our happiness. So if your concern is about money, he's from a family that is very supportive. If your concern is that, but he needs his own money, he's made enough from his career as a coach. He's made enough to last him a lifetime. So ask for money. And look, you people, when we talk about coaches needing to be fired, tomorrow, if you stop meeting your KPIs, multimedia and Kwesichum, they will not consider the fact that you are, no. We have a business. There is no point, there's no place for
multimedia
emotions.
will ask me, Muftau, what is your challenge? What should we do for you to improve?
You see, United have gone past that stage. You see, they had that conversation. That is why they spent £660 million since his arrival. Without that, the kind of conversation you are talking about, without that, there will not be consensus to sign certain players. And not to the tune of £660 million. No.
You know what? We'll come back to Man Utd later. We'll have to come back to Man Utd later. Because the way the conversation is going there, Achi is likely to cry.
Viewers are watching. Do I look like I want to cry?
I beg, hit this for me. Oh, I want you to hit it.
Why?
Hold on.
Why?
Experience it.
You see, this
Experience it.
Is more solid than the Manchester United backline.
Exactly what
I
wanted
need
to hear.
I don't need to hit it to know.
Exactly what I wanted to hear.
This syntax tank.
Syntax tank is more solid than Manchester United backline. And you're strong, and you're tough. You cannot penetrate. You can't. Syntax tank. Oh, come on. So the question is, what is your preferred color of tank? Is it red, like Manchester United? Is it blue, this one, like Chelsea? Is it black? Syntax tank has it. And also, what is the guarantee that you want? Syntax tank has it as well. So what kind of inner layer do you want? Do you want a double? Do you want a triple, a quadruple? As many layers as you want, Syntax tank has it as well. So just remember that whatever your water needs are, Syntax tank has it. So Syntax tank, are strong, are tough. You can get in touch with us on 0244 335168. 0244 335168. We've got about 300 agents nationwide. So just call the number and you'll be sorted. Also, you can also get in touch with us via social media at Syntax Ghana or shop online on www.syntaxgh.com. Syntax tank, is strong, tough. Just as you heard Achu say, it is tougher and much stronger than Manchester United's backline. And Kivo 4-in-1 Gary Soakings, the easiest meal that you can have at any time of the day. Just go to the nearby provision shop and ask for Kivo 4-in-1 Gary. The only thing you need is water, because the Gary is there. There's granite. Some of you prefer to call it peanut. There's also milk. There's sugar. So anything at all, or whatever time you are hungry, just get Kivo 4-in-1 Gary and you'll be sorted. Mohamed Kudus is doing, in fact, he hit the goalpost of Manchester City. The power behind that ball was because of the quantum of Kivo Gary he takes before he goes to the pitch. At Nima, you get Kivo Gary plenty. Kokomlemle, plenty. Just go to Kokomlemle Mall. Plenty Kivo Gary. In my house, plenty Kivo Gary. So, Kivo Gary, the easiest thing. Pamela needs Kivo Gary. And Pamela, you eat Kivo Gary all the time, Pamela. Yesterday I saw you eating Kivo Gary. So this one, why are you asking for more Kivo Gary? So all you need is just to add water and you are good to go. No stress. just enjoy a delicious taste. Enjoy it at the office, boarding house, home, or anywhere you want. So it's available in various markets and retail shops nationwide. Kivo 4-in-1 Gary soakings are easy. This advert is FDA approved. And Guinness Ghana, they have made it possible for us to be here to bring you Sports Zone. We are bringing you highlights of some of the matches that have been played so far in the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup, currently ongoing. Fentio Tahiru, yes, I know you are watching. But I beg you, I beg you. Thank you. Give me peace of mind. The way you laugh small, I know you like that kind of laughter. You see what your brother did do? You see what he did do? He sent me a picture. I open my mouth like this. Why?
Diabolical from afar. Diabolical from afar.
Cameroon came up against Mexico. Nigeria played South Korea. Ghana will play Austria later tonight. We'll bring you the highlights of matches that have been played so far. It's Cameroon versus Mexico. And then we'll bring you Ghana versus Austria, which will also be happening later tonight. FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Sichofe, Ashim, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I like your glasses.
Thank you very much.
How many glasses do you have?
I have a lot of frames. I love frames, so I have a lot.
Like how many, approximately? Or we should ask Madam.
Could be slightly below 15, perhaps.
Huh. Glasses don't want 15.
But he needs them, so.
I like frames. It's not like I have eye problems. That's the thing. People think I have.
Yeah, no. You don't pay to see.
It's not medicated.
Yeah, not medicated.
Yeah, it's just.
You don't pay to see.
It's just frames.
Certain span.
No, but the reason why I got frames was also because when I started doing TV, studio lights were just too much for me.
Oh,
So I had to protect my eyes a little bit.
Okay.
So I stuck to it.
You're on a highway to looking like someone.
Like who?
Someone.
No.
Who is that one?
He doesn't have beard, so I don't look like him, don't worry.
So who are you shading? I will not sit here and allow you shade my brother.
Oh, we're not talking about your brother.
He's not your brother. Let's go on. Let's talk football.
Let's talk Black Princess.
Okay. We'll talk about Black Princesses pretty soon when we hear from Yusuf Basige. But you just saw gone by Cameroon versus Mexico highlights. And Nigeria too will come against South Korea. Benaya, can we have Nigeria, South Korea before? So we'll just wrap up the two, then we'll focus on the Black Princesses.
Match ready?
The players are match ready. That is according to the head coach of the Black Princesses, Yusuf Basige. He has been with these girls, qualified to the World Cup with a perfect run, 6 out of 6. But this is a different stage, a big stage for the girls. These are Ghana's fixtures. Ghana, Austria, which is happening in the next couple of minutes. Then they'll play Japan on Thursday before wrapping up their group stage campaign against New Zealand, which will be happening on Sunday, September 8th. The big concern for many Ghanaians is the fact that the Princesses have never gone beyond the group stages of this major competition. Sicho, welcome once again.
Yeah. Well, it's as I said, it's a tournament that Ghana hasn't had so much joy in, and it's not by accident really, because our formative stages of football, grassroots football for girls and boys in this country is poor, and the way football is going now, you can't afford not to do the right things at the starts and expect the results to be there. Yeah. So when you look at the ladies and where they play for, I mean, women's school sports is not doing well. The women's Premier League itself is not great. So. And it's why over the years we've not necessarily been successful. And other countries are moving way beyond, way ahead of us, because they're taking developmental programs more seriously. They are taking school sports more seriously. They're encouraging more ladies to get into sports. There's still the big stigma about ladies who are into sports here in this part of the world that needs to be cleansed, to give them a bit more confidence to show up and exhibit their talents. But look, they are there. Big congrats to them. I hope they enjoy themselves. And like I always say, success in competitions are very different, right? What Ghana would term as a success at an Under-20 World Cup can't be the same as what countries that have historically done well in
Japan, South Korea, Spain. Yeah. These are countries that have won it. So France.
So if Ghana goes on to win a game, that is a start. If Ghana goes on to manage to qualify from the group, that in itself is success. So no pressure on the ladies no pressure on the young girls. They should go there and enjoy themselves. And as Bazigi said, they are ready and they put in their shift. So I wouldn't be expecting so much from them and putting unnecessary pressure on them because I know what they've been through together. And
in fact, you are also very much aware of what they've been through to get here. We've had many conversations about this Blank Princesses team, their conditions of service and all that. But these are girls, anytime they are given the opportunity, they rise to the occasion.
They do. I think they need to rise out of the circumstances, however limiting they are. The reality is that I have absolutely no faith that we're at some point going to stumble upon a ministry or a football association, essentially a leadership that is going to take women's football seriously and lay the foundation for us to expect success. And so I think at some points, those of us in the space and the players themselves have got to think beyond the limitations and the difficult circumstances they work in, because this is your career. This is your life at stake here. If you make it out there, that is your breakthrough. And so they need to demand more from themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that especially for someone like Yusuf Basigi, who's been here before, led the team to the tournament in 2018, and is back leading the team to another tournament somewhat 6 years later. The reasons for our failure in previous competitions have been clear. We've made a habit of conceding too many goals. So if you look at the 36 games that we've played, or the 18 games that we've played, we've conceded 36 goals, which is an average of 2 goals per game, right? Which is to say that for each tournament, we concede about 6 goals. And we're not as prolific either at the other end of the pitch. We scored just about 14 goals in that time, which is less than a goal per game. So if we can halve the goals we concede, right? If we can limit the damage we allow opponents to inflict on us at the back, I think this is a team with a bit of potential, because perhaps for the first time in many years, we have a centre forward who has shown over time that she can score goals irrespective of the variables around there, whether they change at club level or even in the national team when the supporting cast around her changes. Stella Namiche has proven that she can score goals. And they've made her the captain before this tournament, something that I hope will boost her confidence, because we need someone like that. In the past, every time we've come close to progressing out of the group stage, it's been because we had someone who put in a strong performance. And it's been, 14 years since anyone scored or matched the tally of Elizabeth Kujo, when she scored 3 goals in 2010 at that tournament. And so, look, it may be right. Maybe not one player scoring 3, but if you can get 2 players scoring twice or multiple players chipping in with the goals there, it takes you a bit closer to your target. But I wouldn't say they have disappointed me if they don't make it out of the group. I'm just saying that we need to see a certain shift in attitude, a paradigm shift in terms of how we approach this tournament, because we've had enough qualifications. This is our 7th appearance at the competition. At some point, we've got to start looking at making it beyond the group stage.
I've been trying to find the lineup, but it appears the lineup is not ready yet. When we do get that lineup, we'll be sharing it with you. But, Sicho, let me just come back to you before we move the conversation on. You heard him talk about how this is the time for them to at least let themselves be counted. Nora herself will be there watching. Probably this is the opportunity for most of these girls to get and rise up to the Black Queens level.
No, I don't think it's the motivational talks that necessarily gets the job done.
It's not a motivational talk.
Yeah, you need a certain level of quality, consistency, ability, and support, right? You need a certain level of, look, it's a youth competition you're talking about, so you need a certain level of base work done, the fundamental works done to give you yourself the confidence that you're going into the competition. It's from that point that you can now start psyching the players psychologically. But when a lot of that work hasn't been done, a lot of those things that I said are just words. And for every tournament, there's that one dark horse that nobody expects to surprise anybody. And as Ghanaians, we are hoping that could be Ghana. Right? It could be Ghana who's going into this tournament without so much expectations or promise, and in the end, they're going to stand people. And it's football, things happen. Your opponent can score an own goal, they can get a red card. Many, they can have an off day, and you can just score 1 goal or twice, and you're going through. But as analysts, you are looking at issues on the face value, and you're looking at the face where you're not too confident based on history and what we've not been able to do in recent years to get these ladies in the conditions that inspires any hope or whatsoever. Yeah, so the manager will speak in a way that inspires the players, but that in itself won't get the results if preparations, quality, the base work that should have been done in Ghana have not been done. I'm not being a doomsayer, I'm just saying these are the facts, and I'm hoping that they turn out to be the dark horses of this competition and make us all proud.
Hopefully, they will be the dark horses of this competition and make Ghanaians proud. The new Ghana Premier League season 2 is upon us. We'll move the conversation on, right? This Saturday. Why? You don't want to hear about Ghana Premier League?
Until yesterday, in fact, until this morning.
Yeah.
There were a few people who were asking when are the matches going to be played, because up until now, up until this morning, all we had were windows. So from Friday to Sunday, we know teams are going to play, but the specific day when you are playing.
But the fixtures are now available.
Yeah, but I'm saying that until today. Weren't you listening?
But is the week we are not building? We are not building. The week has started.
Yeah, you and your Ghana Premier League people, you're not serious.
How?
You know when you have to release fixtures for people to plan their travels and plan which game they are watching. You throw the fixture at them in the week that the games are going to start, and you think it's just fine. That is how you want to run the league. Do you know when people started buying tickets to watch their favorite clubs elsewhere? Do you think that is how?
That's a different system. This is our system.
I'm talking about Simba and Yanga don't do that. South Africa don't do that.
It's
not a different system.
It's still a different system.
Tanzania can do it, and Ghana should be able to do it. It's no excuse.
It's
no excuse or whatsoever.
Don't support people who are sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
It's political season. When you walk around town, you see evidence of that. The football season started this weekend, the champion of champions. If you walk around town, if you are not listening to radio or watching television, if it is not journalists who are talking about this, if it is not content creators who are talking about it, what is the evidence of the league management's body's work to promote the products or the clubs themselves? It is the lack of any well-thought-through attempts to market the league is the reason why whenever anyone is negative in their reportage on the league, it suffers, because there is nothing to protect the product. There is nothing to put the product in the face of people to remind them that there is an activity like this that runs for 8 months. There is an activity that is close to you. And so if you have a weekend and you're looking to unwind, perhaps have a business meeting somewhere, you can go to the Accra Sports Stadium, meet a few friends there, have your meeting whilst watching football. There is nothing like that. It has got to stop at a certain point. All of this sloganeering and all of the fancy words people like to throw about, and it doesn't move the needle.
No, but for real, the fixtures have been out for a while. We all have known the fixtures. What does it take to plant the dates to them? What does it take to communicate that way before, a month before? And when the fixtures are thrown up, you can actually put this there and tell everybody they are subject to change. So those that change, they can change with announcement. Those that won't change, it stays the same. But look, football people will tell us that we are not patronizing the game or we are not speaking well about the game, but they're not doing enough about the game, and it starts from them. We can only speak to what they are doing. We can only report what they are producing, and as we speak, they are not producing. What they are producing is not good enough, and so it's disappointing. The league starts on Friday,
Saturday,
on Saturday, and
Dreams FC will be opening the campaign.
Yeah, and we start on Friday.
So, to the viewers watching us, these are the kind of businesses the NPP and NDC are saying they are going to use your taxes to pay them. This is how.
No.
No. So, wait. Okay. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
If it is that for everything we talk about in this country, we expect every expenditure to reflect value for money. We mention value for money in it. Why should football be an exception?
So let's look at it this way. The moment government decides to initiate steps to support clubs and insist that there must be a certain level of seriousness attached to the product, clearly there will be value for money.
It shouldn't get to that point.
It has to be the other way around.
We had that conversation before.
Yeah, the clubs must
We look at the prospects.
No, the clubs must show that they are capable of doing the right things before government realizes that they can back that. Government shouldn't bring money into a system they can't trust. The clubs, the league organizers have not done enough to show that they are capable of doing the right things before government realizes that they can back that. Government shouldn't bring money into a system they can't trust. The league organizers have not done enough to show that they are capable of doing the right things before government realizes that they can back that. that, listen, when they have sponsors, they're not able to keep hold of these sponsors. The track record is there. So government is not going to throw money to them and say that, okay, now we are giving you money, and so show us you can do this. No. Show us you can do the right things. Then we can all support the investment that can come from government.
Government has a responsibility towards Ghanaian youth. The clubs engages Ghanaian youth. Government says that because I am someone...
What's the percentage of Ghanaian youth that clubs engage? What's the percentage? Do you know that?
No, hang on.
How many Ghanaian youth are involved in
Approximately, the 18 Premier League clubs, right?
Yes.
Have a total of about 570 footballers.
That is infinitesimal as far as youth are concerned.
But even just a single person who is found in that bracket has got what it takes to have a huge impact on an entire community if the football industry is well built.
I'm sure you make the point eventually.
No,
listen. Let's move
I'm sure you make the point.
No, what I'm saying is that...
If this is it, it doesn't wash. Because I also have a small consortium. I employ about 6 people. Why does Alhaji Karim Gruza deserve my taxes
they are very young
any
farmers
better than I do?
Who need a lot of...
Hang on.
Hold on. They also have prospects. Some of the service that they provide, they are, if you look at their performances, they are 99th percentile level performers. Far higher prospects of making it than some of these footballers we are going to throw money on.
So actually,
for me, it's simple. Before we encourage the conversation of using taxpayers' money,
we need to see
you
better.
have to prove that you can run this football business quite well. And for me, even independent of this money and the political manifesto thing, is the negligence that we are currently... How does it make sense to anyone that for our elite league, days to the commencement of the league, nobody is marketing. It is nobody's job to talk about the league. So that you are waiting for Sports Zone to come and discuss it. You are waiting on Friday game plan.
So a quick one. Vision FC versus Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Asante Kotoko leaves Kumasi with 21 players, 8 officials, right? Okay. And maybe a driver, something. Approximately 30 people. Vision FC, a team of 30 people. The 2 teams, let's say they're going to play their game at the Accra Sports Stadium. The number of businesses that are going to be impacted by these 2 teams alone has a huge impact in the Ghanaian economy.
No.
Better than your consortium.
No, don't continue.
That where you hire only 6 people.
No, hang on a minute. No, stop. Wait right there. Look. You see, let's not generalize it. You have to speak with figures. You have to speak with facts. Somebody can employ 20 people, right? 10 people.
Yes.
And he's paying them a lot of money. The minimum somebody is earning in that company is maybe 10,000 cedis.
Yes.
They are paying more taxes.
Yes.
They are using a lot of facilities, paying a lot of electricity, paying a lot of water.
Sure.
They are doing a lot of work that they are even contracting people in other regions to do their work.
Sure.
These people are consultants. They are traveling around the whole place, sleeping in different hotels. And look. Until you're able to give me figures of where these teams sleep, how much they pay for their hotel bills, and even if they pay their players at the end of the month for them to even pay their taxes and file them, or even if these clubs are filing their taxes, right? Until you are able to present these figures, let's not speak to... Let's
you and I are very much aware that since 2012, it became mandatory for these clubs to be registered as companies. And that clearly means that they will have to file taxes.
It doesn't mean that they are doing it.
If they are not doing it, then it means the Canada Revenue Authority is not doing their job. So the Revenue Authority will have to come to them.
So we can have that
conversation. It became mandatory for them to pay their SNIT.
No, hang on.
All these things became mandatory because the laws of the country insisted they get it done.
No, Mufta, that's opening up an argument that is not necessary, because the point is simple. We know in this country that teams go 4 months without paying their players. Am I lying? Teams go 5 months without paying their players. We saw
2 years ago,
RTU this season. The players didn't travel with the team. They brought in fake players to play the league because the players were not being paid. These are facts. I'm speaking about facts. It's not about. I'm not speaking hypothesis like you are speaking. The influence of the economy. Teams have been traveling in Ghana every single season. What has been the impact in the economy? How do you measure that?
Imagine government was paying these players.
Why?
What we had with RTU wouldn't have happened.
It would have happened.
Why?
Okay.
Because they have been paid.
No. They are not being paid.
Sicho, hold on.
If government,
do you know
The
the
government
donations-
says they are augmenting the salaries of the players.
Sicho, do you know the donations that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, John Mahama, Ibrahim Mahama, all of these prominent personnel, do you know the donations they've made to RTU?
That was years
No,
ago.
no, I'm not talking about years ago. In the very month that the players boycotted training sessions and refused to play. Do you know how much RTU made from donations and still refused to pay the players?
But what's your point? Are you saying that
You are taking individuals' money. You are not using it to run the club. You are still heavily indebted. But you are telling me that as for government's money, you will miraculously acquire all of the right thinking faculties to be able to run your club.
And this won't happen. This won't happen. Granted, government might say they will pay salaries of these players. Government's not going to pay their salaries. Government's going to give them a base support of an allowance.
Yes, that's what they are augmenting their
If government says
yes.
it's paying every Ghana Premier League player 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Why they want to collapse our economy?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just an example. If government says they are paying every Ghana Premier League player 1,000 Ghana cedis, right? Which is, by the way, for many players in the Ghana Premier League, way more than a lot of them receive. Way more. These club owners, some of them, who don't pay their players for 4 months, 5 months, will tell these players that because this government allowance has come, they are not going to pay the salaries, and players will still stay in Tamale and not travel.
What you are stating
So
is hypothetical.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Because
It
is not. Hang on, wait. It is not because it is a statement of fact that clubs in Ghana Premier League don't pay, some of them don't pay players for about 4 months. It's not hypothetical, it's a statement of fact. So I'm saying that for these clubs who don't pay these players, government's giving them an allowance of 1,000 cedis.
Even government said they owe. What I say? If clubs are owing players, what I say?
No, you're joking with the matter. I'm serious. Otherwise, move it on. Honestly, if you don't want to have a serious conversation about it, it's a serious matter.
It's a serious conversation
Otherwise,
we are
move it on,
having.
because I'm saying that if governments are going to pay the players 1,000 cedis, the clubs who have got a track record of not paying their players 4,000 cedis will extend for not paying their players for about 4 months. Will extend the non-paying to like 6 months, because governments are paying you 1,000 cedis anyway, and what the club is supposed to give you is about 600 cedis.
But Sicho, what you're saying, there's no guarantee.
That's what.
There's no guarantee that they will not pay.
It's a statement of fact that clubs don't pay.
It is a statement of fact that some clubs, they will go 3-4 months without paying their players.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But that does not necessarily say that, because we don't pay, or we have got a certain history of not paying 3-4 months, government steps in to pay 3-4 months, then we decide that we are not going to pay again.
No, I'm saying
So you're making the wrong assumption.
you see,
making the wrong
if
assumption.
somebody's not paying wages to the players, it means the club has a problem. That club doesn't have to exist in the first place. Government giving support to that person's player doesn't mean that the person all of a sudden has money to pay the players. It's what I'm saying. I'm saying that government giving the clubs allowances doesn't solve the roots matter. It's exactly what I'm saying. So without the government support, they are already not paying. If government brings support, you still have to pay the players what you were going to pay. But they've not been paying them for 4 months, for 5 months, sometimes for 6 months, sometimes half a season. What makes you think that all of a sudden government is bringing 1,000 cedis?
And so they'll find
money to pay the players. It doesn't work that way. What makes you think that is how it works? It doesn't work that way. So I'm saying that.
But what also makes you think that because they have a history of not paying, once in a while they will not get money?
Because of their history.
No, Mufta.
Once in a while they will get money and pay.
These businesses are perpetually in the red. maybe we need to break it down for you. What that means is that they do not have the money to meet their contractual obligations. It has been the case for years. Your club licensing at the GFA sits aloof, does a horrible job, and each year they give them the license to come and play. The problem remains, right? The fact that someone is now coming to give them something, which is not even the salary. That is what you are missing. What they are
He's augmenting the salary.
No, wait, it's allowance. Does not mean that that problem suddenly disappears. It doesn't mean that suddenly fresh and new and consistent revenue flows or revenue streams are now available to the clubs. No. And here's the thing. If you look at all of these clubs in the Ghana Premier League, there's not a bank in Ghana that will give them loans.
And so think about it. Think about it.
Don't we every year, maybe with the exception of Hearts of Oak, who Tobe has to pay every time and he doesn't, don't we every year hear that some 3 or 4 months into the season, now Otumfuo now has to come and write off debts that the club owes its players and clear all of those.
No, but seriously, if you're a business and banks don't trust...
said out of the things he's inherited in Ashanti Kingdom, Kotoko is the only thing that is disgracing him.
You see, it's a serious matter. It's not a joking matter. When we talk about, it's a serious matter. Look, if a bank can't give a body like a football club loans, right? we have no business using our taxpayers to give. You see, they have to do their things right. Because banks actually need them to pick those facilities. Banks need them to use their facilities to work so that they can also make profits. The point is, the banks don't trust that they will make the profits from those businesses. So why should we? So I'm saying that I'm not against government supporting clubs, no, but in different forms. Paying the allowances to players is not one of those forms. And so that for me, I'm going to say no. And
create an atmosphere that will let the clubs to make money themselves and go and pay their players. Pello says that he agrees with Achu and then CQ. He's saying that those nurturing the idea of having football should have the right structures to convince us that what they are doing is right. There is value for money. If there's value for money, then paying their players, no. Fellow, we've heard you. We'll move on the conversation. And let's take highlights of Samatex versus Intratuman in the Ghana Football Association Super Cup game that took place at the TNA Stadium on Saturday. Champion of champions, Samatex are champions. They won it. And they are Ghana's representatives in this year's CAF Champions League. We've already touched on this. So I'm going over to the screen where Bande Pep Guardiola is back. Bande Pep Guardiola.
Nabila, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you too?
Very good.
Are you Bande Pep Guardiola?
If you are naming me that way, I take it.
You take it?
Yes.
Because I saw a post from him where he said that, is it one Ajete, right?
Yeah.
The guy who has been called up. Yes.
I named the squad before he two names them, so.
Yes. So he named his squad, included a boy. Otto did not include him.
Yes.
Now Otto has called the boy up.
It was a mistake he corrected. So.
Bande Pep Guardiola.
So, I named the squad. Then Otto came to also make some inputs. And we decided to do some.
So you spoke to Otto?
Yes, we spoke before we came to announce the squad.
Oh, okay.
You see, on Thursday, I was a bit busy. We were having some backroom discussions before the squad will be announced.
Oh, okay. So eventually he agreed that he should have brought Ajete into the team.
So he rectified the mistake.
No, so if Jiku was not injured, would he have rectified it?
Yes. It was never in doubt.
No. If Jiku was not injured.
If Jiku was not injured, he would have added him to the squad to be 24 instead of 23.
Oh, okay. That was what you agreed.
Yes.
When you two spoke. Okay.
When you were
Otto, please let me know. Just send me a message. I would like to hear from you. They said cross-check, and cross-check again. So I'm cross-checking with Otto and his technical team. Yeah.
So what I'm coming to do today is that the squad, I've gone to do some trend analysis from the AFCON to look at players who have been consistent since the AFCON. And in those trend analysis I'm doing, it's in 4 phases. That is, players that have been in the squad from the AFCON squad to the current squad. So it means that there are 4 phases I'm looking at. Players in the AFCON squad, players that have been in the AFCON squad and are in the current squad throughout all those 3, and now the 4th one. The current one is the 4th call-up we are seeing from the AFCON. So if you are looking at it from the AFCON, there were 8 players that were in the AFCON squad that have made it through all those from the 2 friendlies against Nigeria and Uganda. Then in the June World Cup qualifiers against Mali and the Central African Republic. Yes. And then this one, the 2 games against Angola and Niger. So 8 players were in the AFCON squad and have made it throughout to the current squad. They are in all those squads to this. Then if you are looking at it from Otto's 3 call-ups, that is the friendlies, the June World Cup qualifiers, and now this. Throughout those 3 call-ups he has made, there were also 11 players that have made it through all those 3 call-ups he has made up to now. And if you are looking at the competitive games, maybe the 2 friendlies we've seen against Nigeria and Angola, he was using it to test the players to see which players he can rely on. And after that, the 2 World Cup qualifiers against the Central African Republic and Mali, players that were in that squad and players that are in this squad, if you are looking at it, I'm just considering if your name is in the squad and whether you got injured and you couldn't come for the call-up, like your name appearing in the squad. That is the scenario I'm using. And if you are looking at that...
So, based on this scenario, that is why he did Capito.
Capito, since... so he has made only one, or one of the 4 squads I'm looking at. That is the AFCON squad. So apart from the AFCON squad...
In fact, the friendly matches too.
He wasn't in the squad.
Friendly matches?
Yes.
He hasn't been invited since
He hasn't been invited since the AFCON. So he was... I'm looking at it from the 4 squads I'm looking at, he was only in the AFCON squad. And after the AFCON, he has not been in the team since. So if you are looking at it, in the last 3 call-ups, all the 3, from the friendlies to the World Cup qualifiers to now this AFCON qualifier, 11 players have been in all those 3. And now the 2 competitive games squad call-ups he has made, 20 players have also appeared in all those squads. So it's looking like there's some certain consistency in the call-ups he's making. So maybe he's looking at, he's already have a core team he's looking at. He's been on the job since March. And if he has settled on a core group of players, it means that he knows the players he will call up and the players who he wants to rely on. So I'm just looking at the names that are in this squad and the names that are...
Andre Ayew was called up for the friendly matches against Nigeria and Uganda.
I'm not so sure about that.
I
had...
This is on the Ghana Football Association website.
For the Uganda and...
Nigeria friendly matches. Because I was right. I recall, and in fact, when Fifi Taki tried claiming that anytime there's a Black Stars call-up, some players pulled out of that friendly match, and Andre Ayew was already in camp and all that, and they tried to make it a media issue that, Capito is very committed, he's in camp and all that. So I recall that very well.
Well,
I have a very sharp memory.
Did he play?
He hasn't. I am not so sure. I have to also cross-check after this. So I'm not so sure about that. But if you say so, I take it that he's there. I'll cross-check after this.
I take it that he's there.
So I want to look at names that were in the June squad that are not in this squad. So I have names that were in that squad and not in this. Edmond Ado, he's not... This time around, he's even playing more, and he's not getting the call-ups. Then Alexander Yuku, he was in the squad and in this, but because of the injury, he's not coming for this one. Then Enes Noama, he was also in the June World Cup qualifying squad, but he's not in this because of an injury to then Salis, he's also injured and not in this squad. Then Kamaldeen Sulemana, also battling an injury and not playing consistently. Then players that are coming in, Schindler, he was not in the other squad. Then Jonas Ajeti, this is his first call-up. And then Majid Ashmiru, because of the injury, he picked that up, the AFCON. Yeah. He didn't also get call-ups until now. Then Joseph Pinsel, also after the AFCON, this is the first time he's getting a call-up. And then Iñaki Williams, also after the AFCON, this is the first time. So now I've gone to sit down and look at the squad and coming out with a possible lineup that may be playing on Thursday. So this is the lineup I think best fits that game against Mali. When you are looking at...
Bande Pep Guardiola.
Yes. So this is the formation I think... So when Chris Old Trafford came in, he has used 3 formations since he came in. Okay. And his favorite has been 4-2-3-1. The others been 3-4-3 and 4-3-3. He has used this one twice and the other 2-1-1. So in this game, because of the options we have at the back, I think the 4-2-3-1 is what is best suited for the games. I'm going for what is looking like 4 center backs in the back line, looking at the fact that the previous 3 games, or is it 4 games we've played, we've always had slow starts, and the back line has always looked sloppy throughout the game. So I'm going for a solid back line. At least in the first 15, we know that they've been conceding some sort of early goals in those games as well. So let's protect, try to consume the pressure, because we know that if we try to attack from the start, they usually, the back line opens so much that the opponent usually catches up so cold and they take the lead. Then I'm going for a back 4 with center backs, or Salis, Ali
Duseidu, Abdul Mumin,
a lot of the times,
Salisu, and Jerome Opoku.
A lot of the times, he plays as a right back, but when he started, he was a centre back. So he faced as right back for me. He's had a good start to the season. Then Jerome Opoku, he's a very attacking centre back, and when he's progressing the ball, he's so good at that. And this season, he has assisted twice. Obviously, in goal, there's no need to change Lawrence Hatizigi. In the last 2 games he has played, in the Europa Conference League qualifiers, the playoff round against Trabzonspor, in those 2 games, he has made 11 saves. And it's like he has played a huge role in helping his team get to the group stages of the Conference League. Then Salis and Mumin, very solid for their clubs this season. I'll pick them as my centre-back pairing. Then Thomas Partey, he's also had a good start to the season. Yesterday, on Saturday, he was a bit at fault for Arsenal drawing. Then Abu Francis, he's also had a good start. 5 games this season, and in all of them, he's averaging some very good numbers. This position will be problematic for Mohamed Kudus for some people, and I know, but it's not that I'm looking at it that where is he going to play? If I was the one going to deploy him at a position I would have liked, I would have put him at right wing, but Oto Addo I know, and I'm foreseeing for the conversation we are having, he will be playing as number 10. So I'm putting him there. Then Fatau as the left winger. Then Antoine Semenyo, one of our best players, probably our best player this season, scoring 2 goals and providing 1 assist. Then Jordan Ayew as the centre forward. That is it. The gift I have for you this week, Nabila.
Okay, that's a good one. Bande Pep Guardiola. I'm sure if Oto Addo doesn't select any of these players, that would be a mistake. So you have to call him and fix that.
If there's going to be change, probably Abu Francis and Jerome Opoku, the rest, they are all going to start.
Okay. Thank you very much, Karim. You all see this kind of lineup?
Not necessarily. I think perhaps maybe Tariq Lamptey might start, and Ali Duseidu might play as a left back. It could also potentially be a back 3, but I think over 90% of these players are going to start. Also be interesting to see if he trusts Semenyo to start wide or is going to play Pentil and Fatah Issahaku. Okay. Also be interesting to see if Fatah Issahaku will play on the left or he will play on the right. So those are a few things. But, a lot of things. Yeah. But that's a good headache for a manager to have when you've got enough talents to play around with. Yeah, good quality. We've got some messages. Let me do these messages, then we'll go to bring you highlights of matches that have been played in the Premier League. And good evening. My name is Adam Aliu. I'm watching you live from Paragu. God bless you, Sports Zone. And please, is the Hag still the manager of Manchester United? From Philip Indomi. Yeah, Philip, the club hierarchy, Dan Asworth and Omar Baraba have been speaking this evening. They are saying they fully back the manager, they trust in his abilities, and they enjoy working with him. So he's still the manager. We enjoy this backing. Please, Nana Asante Bidiatu, a.k.a. Cheddar, launched already out... or Bidiatu? Bidiatu. He said Bidiatu. Hang on. Cheddar is... It's Bidiatu. Okay. Hang on, let me read the guy's message. Right. He said, please, Nana Asante Bidiatu, a.k.a. Cheddar, launched already out his manifesto yesterday. Why is Chairman Achu not digesting what he said on sports as he has done to the other parties? That's a brilliant question. Why are you not digesting the thing? Watch this piece. This is Black from Efiakuma. Efiakuma. Black. Efiakuma. Watch this space. Guys, please move on from the Ghana Premier League issues. I want to see how Manchester United was humiliated. I'm watching live from WA. My name is Titus. In fact, you are doing a great job for the country. Thank you. We appreciate it. Good evening, guys. You are loud and clear here in WA. Sijo is always on point, and I can't hide my admiration for his analysis. But be sincere, Muftao. Stop the waste too much time on this local football stuff. You don't only waste our time, but our ECG credit. Okay, we go to England right now. But bring me highlights of how Manchester United was humiliated, in the words of one of our viewers. Anslot went there and slaughtered them into pieces and walked away with all maximum points. And also add that of Arsenal's draw and then
just Chelsea as well, drawing against Crystal Palace. Haland, 8 hat-tricks in 69 games. Wow. This guy doesn't need many chances before he finds the back of the net. But Sergio, let's start with Liverpool versus Manchester United. I'm not too sure many people actually anticipated that Ancelotti will walk to the theatre of dreams and give everyone a nightmare.
Well, yeah, considering that it's been a long time since any manager in his first time of asking is beating Manchester United. But look, going into the game, I predicted that Liverpool were going to win because Man United have had a very bad start, or they've been poor at the start of the season. I don't think that they've played well, and Ancelotti's Liverpool seem to be, you know, the players are used to what he wants them to do already, because it's not very, even though it's different, it's not very different from what they are used to. A few tweaks here and there. But more importantly, when you look at the Man United squad, there is no clarity of thoughts on what the manager wants the team to do. And the way the game unfolded was a clear example of that, because the first half, the one player who was caught in the mess of the whole structural problem of Man United was Casemiro. And he lost the balls in midfield. And so the Man United lost the ball. The spaces were there for Liverpool to capitalize. So everybody was thinking it's a Casemiro problem. Then in the second half, Casemiro is taking off, and so mainly gets the ball. The ball is pinned off him, and straight away, Mo Salah scores Liverpool's third. So it is not necessarily individual problems. It is a structural problem, and this is why I think it is. Because losing Liverpool in that game, Gravenberch, McAllister, at the start of that game, especially in that first half, they give the ball away a lot of times in the middle of the park. But the difference is, anytime they lost that ball, Liverpool's structure was such that players were in positions to cut out threats, or Man United's attackers were not good enough to capitalize on Liverpool's midfield losing the ball. When Man United's midfield lost the ball, you could quite clearly see what happened. So if you look at the first goal again, Casemiro is trying to feed the ball to Manu or somewhere over to Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes doesn't play the pass well. And the ball is very deep in midfield where he loses the ball. It's around the center circle area or around the center line area where the ball doesn't, or close to maybe some yards from there, the ball doesn't reach Manu. And once Liverpool picked the ball from there, Man United's right-hand side of defense is so vacated, because at the time Casemiro gets the ball, Mazraoui is galloping. He's quickly moving, and there is nobody covering that space. So once the ball gets through to Salah's end and he clips the ball, there are 2 Liverpool players on the far post unmarked. Yeah. That for me is a problem, right? Then Casemiro again loses the ball.
Szoboszlai and Diaz were...
Szoboszlai and Diaz, and in the end, Diaz got the goal. Casemiro again loses the ball in the middle of the park. Ball goes to Mohamed Salah. And this time, Man United have got their back 4 in the box against 2 Liverpool attackers. But nobody's picking up Luis Diaz, right? Ball comes into him in a brilliant finish to make it. So when you look at, on the day, Liverpool looked like they wanted it more. They were more physical. They won a lot of the 50-50 balls. They were more aggressive on the press. And what we've seen of Man United last season is the same thing we have seen of Man United this season, where it is incredibly easy to go down the middle. Yeah, they had their chances. Many people have said, if Zexi took his chances, but hey, if Liverpool took their chances, the game, the game could have been probably 6-2.
Yeah.
So that's no excuse whatsoever. And finally on Man United, if your midfield and your attackers aren't capable of taking care of the ball, it doesn't matter how good your backline, your goalkeeper is at playing from the back, but it will not work. And so you are better served by going reasonably long early. Because when you go long early to try and find targets, to Garnacho, to Rashford, to Zexi, who's a big frame, or maybe to Bruno, you might as well lose a lot of the ball. But when you lose the ball, between the time you've lost the ball in the half of the opponent,
your boys can regroup.
To when the ball gets to your own half, the possibility that your team regroups is higher than when you're trying to play from the back, but your midfield have not got what it takes to hold on to the ball. So when the ball gets into the midfield and they lose the ball, the distance between the midfield and your own box is so short that the reaction time of your defense is it's sometimes impossible. And so that is what United have been facing. I think it comes down to coaching. It comes down to players who are not necessarily playing at a level where they should be playing. And look, they were lucky to actually have won the game against Fulham. I thought the draw would have been a perfect reflection of that game. They lost to Brighton, and now they've lost to Liverpool. Not looking good for Ten Hag and United.
Not looking good for them. He says he's not Harry Potter.
I nearly said that was a stupid thing. I'm not going to say that.
But you have just said it.
No, I didn't. I said I nearly.
You nearly said it.
You know the thing about Ten Hag that still confuses me?
Yeah.
He lives in an alternate reality, far removed from what is actually happening. So in the press conference, a journalist asked him, your answers seem to suggest that you think it is the players' problem. Meanwhile, everything we see on the pitch points to deeper structural, tactical issues. And he says he doesn't understand why the journalist will do that. Journalist goes ahead to list a litany of these issues that happened in the Liverpool game.
That is actually proper journalism.
Yes, so he goes to list those. So from the structure, how Liverpool, every time they won possession, every turnover was literally 4v2, 4v3 in favor of Liverpool. The areas United were losing possession, the spaces there, how United were not equipped to pick off Liverpool like Liverpool were, essentially gives him a litany of the issues that we saw in the game. Everything we've seen in the past 2 years. And Ten Hag's response is to call back on the fact that apart from Pep Guardiola's Man City, United have won the most trophies in the last 2 seasons, which is something other managers who, in the end, had run their course and were closer to the end, right? At that point, started using trophies as an excuse. So he will go on and say that he's clear in his mind that by the time the season ends, United are going to finish the season with a trophy and he knows where they are going to end. The fact that he is not able to speak to those structural, tactical issues, the fact that, and you see, no matter how intelligent a journalist is, you can never have as good appreciation of...
Or even a full picture of what the manager does.
The fact that you cannot respond to a query from a journalist, that's problematic, right? And it's not because he's not intelligent enough. It is because everything he has to say will incriminate him. He will expose him that indeed what everyone else is saying is true. Mourinho did this in his final days when he knew that he could not talk about what value he was adding to the team, about the quality of his coaching, about fixing the problems in his team. He couldn't have that conversation. And so he needed to shake that, skirt around it, and then come to the issue of, but I've won more trophies than anyone else.
Yeah.
That is where Erik ten Hag is. Look, the coaching is bad. He's not adding value to individual players. He's horribly managing players who have lost form. I don't understand why Marcus Rashford still has to be starting games for Man United at this point when he's not.
But is the attitude of the players right?
Anthony, and you see, he did the same thing with Anthony, where the player is off color. Take him away from the line of fire, but he will not. He will keep playing the player until his confidence is completely shattered. There is nothing wrong with the attitude of the players. There is an issue to do with inconsistent performance. There is that. But the deeper problem is, and you see, Sunday's game was significant because for a lot of people were quick to blame Casemiro and say he was finished. But when Kobe Mainoo made the same mistake and there was no protective cover, now people now started paying attention and realized that, okay, this isn't just a Casemiro thing. Because in every game, and you see, the thing about the sort of football Manchester United attempt to play, the thing about any kind of football that is progressive is that it requires players taking risks. And Bruno Fernandes said that in the post-match interview that those mistakes happen because they try to play through the press. They saw white shirts there. They are not stupid. They know there is a chance of the opponent intercepting it, but it is a high-risk, high-reward scenario. If those passes go through, you take out 2 or 3 players out of the equation.
Yeah.
But
if it's intercepted too, you're in trouble.
Yes, but in a properly coached team, the structure of the team is such that when that pass is not on, when that ball gets intercepted, there is still bodies in proximity to ensure that the opponent does not get a free run. Look, by the 7th, as early as the 7th minute, the goal that was disallowed, that for me was the first red flag. As early as the 7th minute, look at the space that Gravenberch had to just, he didn't have to run. He literally jogged through that space because unchallenged. So there are issues. And for me, the bulk of these issues lie with Erik ten Hag. And I'm just going to end by saying this. For 2 years, Ten Hag has not been able to add value to this team. He's not been able to solve the tactical defects that he inherited. He has not been able to instill any identity. I don't think the players even know the kind of football Erik ten Hag wants them to play. If he has not been able
he said eras come to an end. Maybe his era is about to end.
If he has not been able to deliver all of this in 2 years, there is no reason for keeping him in his job because, look, in coaching, the most precious commodity, in football, the most precious commodity is time. You buy time with the quality of your team's performance and the results that you get. Yeah. 2, performances and the results. Both have been non-existent for the 2 years that Erik ten Hag has been there. And you see, those cup competitions are never a true measure of the progress of a team. United have got a decision to make. And there's only one decision that has to be made because, look, if you want to wait this out and wait for after the international break because there are some kind of fixtures, he's probably going to get through that period. But whatever football United play in that time, whatever ideas he's able to come up with, I don't think it will be smart for United to trust that 6 or 5 week body of work over the 2 years body of work that Ten Hag has shown. Any analysis of this scenario should end with Erik ten Hag being fired.
We've also been told that the interview from the chairman on the support to Ten Hag was before the game, so maybe it's not as if they are giving him his back.
And that's the thing. Now he's playing politics because how do you and your entourage now go and lift an interview in England?
You can accuse them of them being the ones.
But they are the ones who circulate.
People are just reporting it.
In England, there is part of the match promotions is that there is a match day program. These match day programs, just for those who are, sometimes have interviews with players, interviews with coaches and board, whatnot.
What to expect from us and all that.
The Omar Barada interview that is in circulation, we're told was from yesterday, before the game.
Yeah.
It did not trend. After the game, it did not trend. People have now realized that now the conversation is against him.
So it can trend.
So they need to push something out to create the impression that he's back. He has the backing.
But interestingly, many of these clubs will release a statement backing you. The following week they get you fired.
I mean,
it changes nothing.
I think
it doesn't change anything.
The reason why Ten Hag is holding on to the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup is also because, you know, these days fans on social media want to banter and they'll tell you, I want this, I want that. But look, it doesn't show any sign of progress. And I think that Ten Hag takes a lot of the blame. He has to change a lot of things to salvage his own job. Okay,
Nanajua says that yesterday Manchester United and Ten Hag spoiled my day and my fufu. Hey.
I need to say this about Liverpool, though.
What's what? Scanu, Ashirov.
I need to say this about Liverpool because I feel like the brilliance of Mohamed Salah has been swept under the carpet because of how horrible Manchester United were. Look, yesterday was his 9th game at Old Trafford. He scored 10 times. It is crazy. And for me, it was a bit sad that in the post-match interview, he had to, politically, announce that the club had not approached him for a contract renewal, which was a bit disappointing. But you can understand the situation because, 4 years ago, Liverpool had the option to either cash in and sell him for good money or extend his contract. They literally broke tradition when they decided to give him a 75% wage. So now he's on £350,000 a week, 32-year-old. Difficult for them to give him a contract renewal, but that situation needs to be resolved. For what Salah has given the club, at the very least, if you want to move on from him, have a conversation and then let him know the situation, but remaining silent.
Don't treat him like Chelsea did to Sterling. Hello, I am Varo Empire watching live from Bibiani. Why didn't Coach Ofori call Richard? Coach, I don't call Richard Ofori
to come and do this.
Good evening. How are you? A long time, please. It's your friend Solomon from Abuja Jensen, Chelsea fans. Please, I need your number. Okay, Solomon. Okay. Good evening to you guys. Even though Man United lost, it wasn't humiliating because we never bought 42 players as Chelsea did. Man U, we play for trophies and not positions. Still a proud Man United fan. James at Hamley Kokolugu. Okay, I see. This one says that, good evening, guys. Why are most of you seeing the customary incident as a mistake? He passed and the ball was intercepted. Sicho mentioned it. The ball was intercepted.
Yeah, so he misplaced pass. So.
Yeah, so the ball was intercepted. So he said that's not a mistake. Secondly, he got pressed by Diaz, and eventually the ball was one of him.
So he lost the ball.
Is that also a mistake? Yes, indeed. If they win the ball away from you, it's a mistake. So these are not mistakes. Teams do these things all the time. Even United yesterday pressed and won some balls, as well as Liverpool had misplaced passes. Casemiro, to me, has done nothing wrong. Dave, inside Adenta. Hi, I think these are the best materials we have at the moment. So let's rally behind the team and wish them success. Big up to Sichu, Daniel, McCarthy Hill. And then, hi, my name is Ibrahim, watching you live from Tamale. I'm praying for Ghana to win their games. And this one coming from Shukra, Liverpool all the way. Okay. Let's do Brighton Arsenal. Brighton versus Arsenal. And just by the way, the Black Princesses are losing 1-0 to Austria. Sicho, Arsenal also dropped points. That red card to Declan Rice probably was their undoing.
Yeah, and I was disappointed a little bit because, I mean, I would like to see 11v11. I want to enjoy the football. Brighton Arsenal was going to be one of the best games.
Oh, you have a soft spot for Arsenal to do well this season?
No. After City are going to win. When I watch football, I just want to have the full fun. And I knew Brighton and Arsenal was going to be a very good game. I wanted to enjoy it, but that red card took so much from that second half because it was very early in the second half. But it was a red card. I can understand all the sentiments. But you see, referees don't ref with
emotions,
with their emotions or their own intuitions on things that are clear-cut law. When the law allows them to use their own opinions and discretions, they do that. But this ahead of the season, players and clubs were told that what they wanted to avoid was the unnecessary 12 minutes that we saw from last season where games will end and teams are playing 8 minutes added on, 12 minutes added on. And so to clamp down on, or to stop that, they have to clamp down on time wasting. So one of the things that clubs have been told that they're going to be penalized for was wasting time during free kicks or trying to take a free kick and blocking plays.
In fact, there was a yellow card for Raya
for doing that.
Yeah.
So the referee sees the situation. By the way, the first yellow card was a yellow card. Declan overran the ball, went into the tackle, was a dangerous one. His feet was low, deserved the yellow card. The second one, I can understand the emotions, as I said. But the referee picks up the rule book. The referee looks at the rule book and what the rule says. So we can talk about the rule. Does it make sense? Is it insensitive? Is it the right way to go? If we all agree no, they can change it. But if that is what the clubs agreed to go by, then the referee did a brilliant job by awarding the foul to Brighton and then giving Declan Rice a second yellow card because he deliberately just slightly toe-hooked the ball before Veltman tried to kick it. But this is where the problem is, the inconsistency. Because there was a time where Joao Pedro, as well, the ball had gone over the line, it was a throw-in, and then he ran and kicked the ball away. And even before the rule was spoken highly of in the summer, this one, there's always been a yellow card for players.
There's always a yellow card.
Always a yellow card. And that time, Joao Pedro was on a yellow card himself. And if you give him this, or if you book him, then Arsenal could go on and play.
Just send him off.
So there were scenarios in the game where we didn't see the consistency in applying the rule that got Declan Rice sent off. But I think that took a lot away from the game. And Arsenal will feel like those 2 points are a huge point dropped, even though it's still early in the season.
You talk to me about Chelsea. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. That game also ended 1-1. Enzo and his boys, I don't know what is wrong with them at Stamford Bridge.
Well, there's nothing wrong with them. This is a project at its infancy. I think that...
No. Which project at its infancy? Now, you have, like someone just sent a message. They didn't sign 42 players. Abba. Yes.
How many games has Enzo Maresca coached?
Let's add, if we add preseason.
He is literally learning to cut his teeth, not just his Chelsea career. He only has one top-level season, and that was championship. If you consider championship as top level. So, for all intents and purposes, this is a project at its infancy. It's a whole new Chelsea team they are assembling with a new manager. 3 games, or what, 2 months, 6 weeks of preseason and 3 in the regular season itself is not enough for you to get a rhythm or get a tune out of this team. And so I would not even want to talk tactics. They are going to learn on the job. If there is any good in the ideas that Maresca is teaching these players, we will see it 8-7 weeks from now, right? You will see traces of that. you will see varying degrees of appreciation because they have not been together long enough for you to see the level of cohesiveness required for them to produce at a certain level that will give meaning to the tactics. And so at this point, everything is just attempts, let me try this and see. So in his mind, Maresca knows what he wants this team to do, but he hasn't spent enough time with this group of players. And there's, on their own, not enough body of work for Maresca to look back on and say, Neto has done this within this structure before. He's probably spent more time in the doctors and medical treatment room than anyone. Who are the other options? Ronnie Madueke, massively inconsistent the previous year. Mudryk, nothing to write home about. And so he really doesn't know who to trust around this time. He would have to play the players through their bad form, through inconsistencies, through their good form, until they get to a point where now it is clear who can do the job. Reputations don't matter at this stage because a lot of the players playing there are not even exposed to the ideas which, at best, are experimental, right? He hasn't won anything significant anywhere for us to even trust those ideas. So there is that in itself. But I'm just saying that even before you get to the point of making a decision, a determination of the value or the quality of ideas at play, you can question the individual performances. If someone plays a bad pass, that one you don't need 50 years or 50 training sessions before you can execute a good 60-yard pass. No, those ones are there. When Nicholas Jackson is making poor decisions in front of goal, when he's making awkward runs, those ones are not things that you can blame the coach for. Those will be there. But I'm just saying that the most significant part, which is cohesiveness, which is having a structure within which all of these individual parts will fit and work, is non-existent. So I, for one, cannot...
So it will take time for Chelsea to get that? It will take time.
I mean, we're going to see the basketball that they play. I mean, because Chelsea don't play football. If you watch their games, it's basketball. 1 minute...
But I didn't hear that.
No, Chelsea don't... but you saw the Wolves game. Was that football?
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea don't... Any team that is brave against Chelsea, we are going to find a scenario like any team that is brave against Chelsea and does not have control or is unable to control the games and seize possession the way City did, the way Arsenal will, the way, to a certain extent, Liverpool can. I'm not sure whether they will do that, though, because they have a manager who's very pragmatic.
Okay.
Any team that plays that way, they are going to find a game that is very similar to the Wolverhampton Wanderers game. So, look, for me, gloves off Chelsea, right? If you're a Chelsea fan, this is not the time to be critical. Of course, you are going to see a lot of heartbreaking things like when Jackson is your centre forward. But give it time.
It will come.
Oh, yeah, give it time.
Sicho, is Haland stoppable?
No, he's not stoppable. Old-fashioned striker, his finishing ability is brilliant. He had a full preseason, he's fit and he's sharp, he's unstoppable. I mean, he will score a lot more goals this season, and I think he's probably...
Seven goals in 3 games?
Yeah, he's probably going to score more than he did score in his first season. So, yeah, brace yourselves. He's unstoppable.
We should brace ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, brace yourselves. Chelsea. Chelsea already took their share, Abby.
No, I mean, look...
Liverpool. Man U.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Haland. Oh, God, Haland.
He's inevitable.
That boy is crazy. Show Prado brought to you by Kivo for Unwanigari. Syntax tank, strong and tough. And winner big, catch the flow, sir. And then Guinness Ghana. They have made it possible for us to bring you Sports Zone. It's been a pleasure coming your way with today's edition. See you again next Monday.